put you in my sights.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Elite POV, where it's podcast time, and you know what that means. I'm one of your hosts, Phil Cataldo, but you can call me Philium, alongside the draw, Jackie Rodriguez. What is up?
What's up, guys? Big night Dynamite was last night. Massive show, lots of fun. Cannot wait to cover all of it.
And on the other end, we have the king of talk style, the producer hoot, Anthony DeStefano. What is up?
What is going on, everybody? What a night last night for AEW. CM Punk making us all tear up. Some great vibes from him. Overall, a great card. I know, here we go with the ratings talk again because it's 4:00 on fucking Thursday, so you know what that means. Ratings talk, right? But don't let the ratings get in the way of reminding you that show was fucking sick last night. So much fun. And we are 9 days away. 9 days from tonight. 9 days from tonight. Hangman Page will be your AEW World Champion. And 7 days from tonight, we have a lot of shit going on. So you might want to tune in next week for our biggest show ever.
Yes, absolutely. And with all the talks of everything that's going on in AEW, we definitely want to start off the show with the thing that everybody's talking about, and that is, of course, Jon Moxley is stepping away. And here's Tony Khan's tweet I just brought up because I want to get all the information, right? So Tony Khan tweeted, for anybody who missed it, Jon Moxley has allowed me to share with you that he is entering an inpatient alcohol treatment program. Jon is a beloved member of the AEW family. We all stand with him and Renee and all of his family and friends as he shifts his focus to recovery. Jon is making a very brave choice to get help, and we're embracing his choice and supporting him however we can. I'm proud to call Jon a friend, and like many of you, I'm also a fan of Mox and look forward to a time in the future where he's eventually ready to return to the ring. Until then, thank you for supporting Jon and respecting his privacy at this time. And then Tony Khan puts out a tweet saying, if you or a loved one need help, please reach out to the national helpline at 1-800-662-HELP, which is 4357. Now, it was a big shock to the wrestling world because, of course, Moxley not only has a book come out that came out this past Tuesday, so he's probably was supposed to be doing media for that, right, to promote the book.
Yeah, he had
especially social media.
He was doing some signings at BAM, whatever, like that bookstore. He was
Books a Million or
Books a Million.
Yeah.
Bam. He was doing a bunch of signings there. But yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for my fucking book. Nicole got our Amazon locked, so yeah, I don't know if my book's coming. It was supposed to come today.
So there was also that, and then of course, what was on TV, which was, he was in the World Eliminator tournament for the title, the finals being at Full Gear, and a lot of us thought that it was going to be him and Danielson, and possibly him versus who we hope would be Hangman after Full Gear. So I'm going to start with you, as a longtime Moxley fan. How did this news hit you? Because it was surprising to a lot of us.
It was shocking, but it wasn't shocking at some point. I could see he was a little bit different. His body started changing a little bit and stuff like that. And, a lot of times that deals with drinking. I always knew he drank. We've seen him drink, like after the match, whiskey and cigarette. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So it's as sad as I was, I'm happy for him because it takes bravery and courageousness to put yourself into a rehabilitation center and admit that you have a problem. And as a father, it connects to me because he's doing this. He's not doing this for wrestling. He's doing this for his wife and his child. And to me, that is the manliest thing you can do. And that is the most important thing in your life. So for him to be that unselfish, right? Because it is an unselfish thing to take yourself out of everything. He was a week away from fighting Bryan Danielson. And maybe winning a tournament to be a number one contender and being Hangman's first opponent. And it shows you where his priorities lie. And I'm giving, even though I'm sitting inside, I'm giving him a standing ovation because it takes a lot of bravery and courageousness. And, I want him to be healthy. And that's what we always say. These performers help us escape. They should be able to escape as well. And I think CM Punk did a great job of kind of verbalizing that in a way that we can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we get to the CM Punk promo, I just want to get Jackie's thoughts on the whole situation.
It's always an unfortunate thing, anytime you're dealing with the realities of addiction. It's really sad. Seeing Tony Khan's tweet like kind of floored me a little bit. Hindsight is always 2020. We can always go back and say like, oh, well, here were the signs that maybe something wasn't completely right. I was a little bit blindsided by it, but like Ann said, the important thing before wrestling, before any of this, is that he needs to be clean and free for his family. And I applaud him. I applaud anybody in his situation that's taking a stand and doing the right thing to get healthy and get sober. So I wish him all the best.
And it's one of those moments where you're proud to be an AEW fan because you understand that, in this company, you're allowed to ask for help without the worry of retaliation or the worry of a penalty.
Losing your spot.
Losing your spot. Because we've, and this will be how we transition to the Punk promo because, when Punk was going through everything he was going through in WWE and then he ended up leaving there, he talked a lot about how he was struggling for a long time. I mean, and luckily for him, Punk never did drugs. Punk never drank. Punk never did any of that. Straight edge. His addiction was, not stopping and keeping going and destroying his body and his mental health. So, Punk understands that. Like, you don't want to lose your spot. And in AEW, it's been shown that people could, Hangman stepped away to have a baby. And then, he comes back and the storyline that was probably going to be it all out is now happening at Full Gear. We see Bunny step away from mental health. Santana Ortiz, he stepped away because, his dad and his stepdad died last year. We had now Blade.
Yeah, and that kind of got swept. That got swept under the rug a little bit. And I want to commend Blade for doing that. Like that's again, like that is, it takes balls to say, yo, I need help and I need to step away because, you get in love with the grind. I'm sure we all do. We all push ourselves to go to work or push ourselves to go to events or push ourselves to just do anything when sometimes all you need is time and you need to heal. So I just I don't want Blades like that. That's big news too. I don't want it to get.
But the cool thing is like you're in this company. You're allowed to step away without the fear of losing your spot, which I think that a lot of the guys and girls are afraid of more. Like I think they're afraid of more losing their spot than they are any type of harm coming to them. So it's cool that there's this openness here that they can do that with no fear. And, now I want to take this time to transition to the CM Punk promo that had a lot of us crying, right? I went back and rewatched it. Definitely made me tear up. It's because it comes from the heart. And, talking in our chat yesterday while we were watching it together, it's another cool thing about AEW because AEW exists in the real world. And they take real life things and they don't run from it. They address it immediately because they know as fans, we're on social media, we're reading the dirt sheets, reading wrestling reporters' reports and, and everything. So we know what's going on. So I love that they don't kind of try to insult our intelligence by making a lie or doing something on screen. It's just like, no, we're going to address it. But
they could have made it like they could have made it a storyline. They could have been like Moxley out, but I mean,
but just let people know, like, your quick summary of what Punk said, because I know that that promo meant a lot to you.
I mean, it's just Punk spoke to us as people, and again, that's the beauty of AEW is they treat us like people. They don't treat us like less. They don't treat us like we're idiots. Like they're real with us. We all are smart fans. We knew what happened with Mox. I kind of wish, and this is just a wrestling fan to me, they didn't announce that Miro was going to be in that match before the Punk promo because I think a lot of people were thinking it could have been Punk. But the promo, the second part of the promo against Eddie Kingston was fucking amazing. I don't want to skip over that either. But the first part of that promo is so important because for years, like people criticized Punk, and I was one of them, and I feel bad for doing it, but I was hurt because that guy got me into pro wrestling and then left, and we never really got an explanation, and his explanation was done out of anger when he did it, so we really didn't get a real reason why. It just sounded like he wanted the main event WrestleMania. That's the only reason it sounded like. If he would have went into that Colt Cabana interview and been like, dude, I was like my mental health, like it wasn't anything about that. It was almost just shitting on the company. So I think we didn't get to see that side of Punk, but that's what Punk has admitted. Like he had to heal. He had to feel better. And now he does. And he, you know, obviously him and Mox have been up and down the road together. And it's important coming from CM Punk because we are all on the edge of our seats waiting for this man to speak. So for him to come out and say to people, not just Moxley, like, if you need help, get it. You're not a quitter. It makes you more badass. I mean, that is something that an idol would say. That is something that someone you look up to will encourage you with. Like, so that's so important for wrestling fans. A lot of us suffer with mental health and that stigma that's around it. And I think that having someone like CM Punk openly say it and say, like, hey, like, if you have a problem, if you have mental health issues, like, ask for help, like, do anything, you know, just get help. And I think that was the most important thing. But CM Punk is so good at delivering it with a sincerity and wording it in a way that, you know, is just so perfect. Like, and I think that's what, you know, everyone could say the pipe bomb, and the pipe bomb was great. This was the most important promo I've ever heard CM Punk ever, you know, do in his career.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. So so Jackie, how'd you feel listening to the Punk promo?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Yeah. You guys obviously were there with me. I did get choked up. I felt myself tearing up. I think what you can take away from all of this is that he called out mental health primarily. And I think that a lot of times when people struggle with addiction, they're vilified, and you know, people don't really take time to realize that there is a lot of mental health involvement in the nature of addiction. So the fact that he took the time to really to call that out, call attention to it, and let people know, you know, this might resonate with, that if you are in a position where you're struggling, that you are 100% okay to get help. There's no weakness in that. And, you know, for better or for worse, whether he's ripping somebody to shreds or he's lifting somebody up, Punk is one of the most sincere people when he gets on that microphone. And that really came across last night. So it was really beautiful to see. And I admire the fact that he was allowed to go out and speak from the heart. And I just really felt that deep down. So that was incredible.
I do want to add something is, you know, we have all this, all these jokes, right, about back in the day, remember, back when wrestling was cool and men were men. And wrestling has had a stigma of drug use and alcohol abuse and all that. And 15 years ago, Jon Moxley would have been called a bitch or whatever for doing this. And now he's encouraged to do it. Now people are supporting him. And I think that is a fucking standing ovation to AEW and pro wrestling, because it wasn't just AEW people. There's WWE people tweeting it. Like, people really want him to get good and get better and get well. And I think that's the best part of this is he doesn't feel like he's letting anyone down, because 15 years ago he would have been probably banned from the locker room for admitting he had a problem. You know what I mean? So I think that standing ovation on that, I think that's really something that's lost in it, is how far wrestling has come.
And, you know, the cool thing is, you know, as a company and as us as fans, we could have this real moment. We could have this moment breaking the fourth wall, and we're discussing something that's real and discussing something that's happening outside of the ring, outside of storylines. And then someone like Punk could, at a snap of a finger, bring us right back into the storyline. And that is, of course, the second part of the promo, where he shoots down Eddie Kingston, because he's like, oh, there's two guys who are not here. The first one, of course, being Moxley, and the second one being Kingston. And with Rampage being live for the next couple of weeks leading up to Full Gear, and it being live on Friday in St. Louis, you know, them saying, oh, Eddie Kingston's not here, and Punk cutting this great promo, Eddie's a coward, all this stuff. Like, Jackie, you're the Eddie Kingston guy. So, like, how this second part of the promo, was he able to kind of lift you back up and get you excited for this feud that's looking like it's going to happen at Full Gear?
Yeah, that was a smooth like butter transition, because, you know, it's like it just went from one into the next without you feeling like he was making a storyline out of the situation. And just like the way that he called Eddie Kingston out, because to me, I'm looking at it like the last person you're going to call a coward is Eddie Kingston, because He's not one to back down from anybody.
Mhm.
But in that moment, he was able to spin it like, well, Moxley has a reason he's not here. Where the hell are you? And calling him straight out and saying like, oh, everybody's saying we want this match for Full Gear, but we're going to hit St. Louis before then. And I want a face-to-face apology from you. So, Kingston being called out like that.
Kingston don't apologize.
He's
Kingston
not going to
don't apologize.
Nope.
Kingston does not apologize.
It's like all you're going to get is more aggression. And all I can say is the promos that are going to happen between the two of them are going to be the most freaking fire, mind-blowing stuff ever. And I'm so ready for that.
Match. Just put them in the ring for like 10 minutes and just let them go at each other.
I listen, the half an hour of Rampage should just be them talking shit. Like that should be that should be it. And it's you want ratings, that'll pop a fucking rating. Put Eddie Kingston and CM Punk in a promo battle on Friday night. Like that would be amazing. I'm excited. I'm an Eddie Kingston fan. I'm a CM Punk diehard, and I think that we're finally getting the payoff of CM Punk that we've been waiting for, right? He's been climbing and climbing, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's wrestling Bobby Fish. Of course he's going to beat Bobby Fish. Yeah, he's wrestling Hobbs. Of course he's going to beat Hobbs. Eddie Kingston has a great record in AEW, and he's pushed people to the limit. Look at him and Danielson. If Kingston would have won that match, we would have been like, wow. But none of us would have been like, man, I don't know. That's a bit. We were all like, whoever fucking survives, survives. And I think that's the beauty of Eddie Kingston. And we're going to get to see CM Punk tap into a more aggressive side, not only in the ring, but I'm talking about on the mic where he's happy-go-lucky Punk. That's going to change Friday night, and we're going to see the voice of the voiceless, the best in the world. We're going to see Mr. Pipebomb come out against the best talker. I think Eddie Kingston's the best talker because it's real. MJF might be the best promo. Eddie Kingston's the best talker in wrestling. I can't wait for it.
You're 100% right.
Keep pushing it. Push it to January. Just give him a Full Gear promo. I don't need a match yet.
You know what's funny too is like last week's Rampage, we saw Kingston versus Danielson, and I saw a tweet that popped the hell out of me, which was somebody tweeted, somebody needs to tell Eddie Kingston this isn't real. Just like the dude, he comes out, he's just in an AEW shirt, there's water all over it, and he's just he's just ready to go. Like everything that he brings is with this like reality to it of like, I'm just here to fight. Like fuck all the other bullshit.
Did you see what he said? Like Moxley said to him.
What?
Moxley gets him all hyped up. He's like, that fucking bitch out there, that bitch out there is going to talk shit. Go knock him. Like, Moxley's
calling something about his veganness and everything.
Yeah, he's going to start calling out his veganness and shit. Like, Moxley, like, literally tells, like, because that's how Moxley thinks, too. Before he goes out, he's like, motherfucker, I'm going to beat, like, it's real in his head, even though he's playing a character. But that's how he gets that aggressive side out. And you could just tell Kingston Friday night was fucking fired up, man. That match was
it was awesome.
That was
and
brutal.
let's transition right to that match. And one of the best matches of the year. I feel like every time Danielson's in the ring, it's a match of the year candidate, no matter who's he's against. And I tweeted this out on Saturday when I was able to kind of watch the replay the next day. I think it's time to start opening up the debate as Bryan Danielson being one of the best wrestlers of all time, because this year alone, between him and WWE and now him and AEW, like he is putting out absolute bangers with everybody. Like he is on a mission to prove to the world that he is the best of all time.
It's very Shawn Michaels, like 96, 97, where Shawn Michaels couldn't have a bad match if you tried. Like it's like that run that you're seeing. It's like him versus Dustin Rhodes, for example. Right, that had no business being that good. It had no business being that good. We knew Friday was going to be good, and it went from being good to being just fucking brutal. Like to the point where you're like, someone's going to legit die. Like someone's going to die.
And it's funny, we were talking in the chat after the Cody match. It's like, what's more likely to happen? Cody bleeding or Danielson having that mark on his chest that's all beat red from.
It looks like he's like got ground beef. Like his chest is just made of ground beef. Just really.
At this point, his chest just heals up so he can get hurt again. Like he just walks around like constantly at that time. But Jackie, what'd you think of the match?
It was intense, really intense, and it's every bit of as intense as you think it would be. You got Danielson being, the fighter that he is, but like you said, Kingston, everything feels like a freaking shoot. It's like when he's fighting and he's hitting you, the sound of the impact from like flesh to flesh just sounds like the most painful thing ever, which is probably why Danielson, like, even though yes, that is his signature to like get all bruised up in the chest, I don't think I've ever seen it look that brutal.
Oh my God.
It was serious, but how signature was it that it's like Eddie's gonna go down swinging. So even though he's not gonna tap out, but he'll pass out, but he's flipping
And
you
he'll
off
flip
in
you
the
off when you
process.
pass out.
He's literally flipping him off as he's passing out.
So
And I
that's
was
like the thing about like, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but the thing is
Yeah.
like, that's how you protect someone. Like he lost, but he looked like a badass, and he was so well protected that now he can move on to CM Punk, and it makes sense. Like
and it's still believable. That
exactly.
he
It's
could
not
win.
like, oh, he just lost to Danielson. Why would he get Punk? No, like I fucking love this company because of shit like that. He could have tapped out, but tapping out kind of takes his character down a notch. By flipping you off and passing out, I'm still the baddest motherfucker. You didn't actually beat me. You just put me to sleep. Like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the funny thing is, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like before every one of Eddie Kingston's matches, he looks at his opponent and he goes, "Yo, do you know these two Japanese guys? Have you ever seen this match?" And if they say yes, he's like, "Cool, that's what we're doing." Because I feel like with Danielson, he was like, "Watch this match because we're doing this," and Danielson was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" And they just beat the shit out of each other because that was a Japan match if I've ever seen one. Like,
Super
just
stiff.
beat the hell out of each other. Like, don't watch that match and tell me this shit's fake.
I loved it.
Like, there's nothing fake about that match.
I love it. We're gonna look at like
Now-
what Danielson has accomplished in 2 months. 2 months.
Major.
Like
He's
he
making
has
the
that.
work rate of the company just go to another level.
He might have 3 of the top 5 matches of the year in 2 months.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Definitely up for it. It's up for debate. Like at this point, it's going to be like the match of the year is Daniel Bryan or is Bryan Danielson. That's the match of the year.
Yeah,
and
he
go
is-
versus whoever you want to pick.
He's-
Everybody.
Yeah,
Because
versus
even
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan's
Bryan
but
Danielson
no, but
versus
Daniel
everybody.
Bryan's run in WWE at the end was fucking excellent too. Like the guy
That's what I'm
hasn't
saying.
he
When
hasn't
they give out
missed
the award,
this
it's gonna
whole
say
year.
versus everybody.
Yeah, yep, hasn't missed. I love it.
He did not miss. Now, we're going from that match to FTR versus Aerostar. And what's the other guy's name? I don't know. It's Kalisto, but what's his name?
Oh.
Samurai del Sol?
Samurai de la Soul, or yeah.
De la Sol? It's Kalisto. So it's FTR
Good lucha
versus
things.
Kalisto and Aerostar. The Good Lucha Things versus FTR for the AAA Tag Team Championship. And what a banger of a match this is in every aspect except Aerostar. But I definitely want to go to Jackie first. What do you think of this match and how sloppy is Aerostar?
Oh my God. See, like, it's rough because I'm the type of person, like, I never want to criticize anything that I know that I could never freaking even begin to try to do myself. And it could have been an off night. Who knows? I don't have enough exposure to know what the
I
work
think he
rate
got hurt.
is. Well, he dropped on his head at one point. He went for like a moonsault over the top rope to go outside of the ring to get Dax, and he like just barely missed landing on his head by a smidgen.
And his leg hit the guardrail, looked like, right?
Guardrail. There were a few spots where I was just like cringing.
Yeah, I don't need to see Aerostar anymore.
Yeah, which is rough because it's like, again, I don't know. It could have completely just been an off night situation. So, a couple things about this match. Number one, here's my dear AEW moment. Dear AEW, hi, it's me, Jax. Please stop with the picture-in-picture during FTR's matches. Your girl can't take it. I have like attention deficit. I was all over the place. So I feel like I missed, I had to go back and watch it again. But as much as I love FTR, and it wasn't a bad match, it just felt like it was a lot of disconnect going on. Like there was some miscommunication, some timing errors, and it just wasn't 100% gelled.
And we'll be right back, but you can catch the rest of us in picture-in-picture.
Restaurant quality picture in picture.
Yeah, you're seeing great wrestling, and then it's like, come eat at Papa John's where we got the pizza going.
Hey, we have Shaq now. You ever see Papa John? He's a sweaty motherfucker. Makes some weird noises. Papa John.
Oh my. No, but it
but
really
also in this picture in picture.
And
it's funny too for people listening. As soon as it hits, I hear Jackie go, "Oh, come on!" Just get so angry.
I get so annoyed because it's so hard for me to pay attention. Like I literally have to mute the stream because it's like if I'm hearing the commercial, my eyes are going to go to where the audio is coming from. It's not going to go to the match as much as I try to pay attention. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not going to say anything negative about an FTR match because hello, it's FTR, and I think that they made the best of a situation. Samurai Del Sol did his thing in the match.
And he did his thing on Twitter, and here we are.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna. We're not gonna.
But yeah, I don't need to see. And I know Aerostar is popular, and he's like a high risk taker. I just don't think he looked. I don't know if it was an off match, and I know he's all about risks, but it just didn't look safe for his opponents at that point. Like it didn't look. He was just flailing around. It looked like me, like wrestling pillows when I was younger. Like thinking I could do like an elbow drop and I like land on my head and shit. Like it just.
I want to say we all had those moments
like
as kids.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, Kalisto, that's what I'm going to call him. He looked decent. He looked good for someone I haven't seen.
He looked really good.
I'm glad he shops at Dick's to get his black tank top that he wore, his generic black athletic shirt.
Oh, because he had to match Aerostar. That was what it was. It was like a muscle shirt, Under Armour muscle.
Bro, just don't wear a shirt. You're a wrestler.
Nah, it's true. But it was still a great match. It's still awesome to see FTR in that moment, and and we get to see them in the next segment actually, which I want to transition to, which is Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo, which surprise, Andrade wins, and
not surprised.
I was shocked because
Cody's like 1-6. It's like 1-6.
Well, that's true.
Since July.
Yeah, even though people were so mad when he won.
Dude, he hasn't won shit.
Because he wins so much.
He beat a Go-Go.
Come on.
He beat a Go-Go and then he beat Black once. And that's been like it.
For like the whole year. Basically for like the whole year. It's funny. But no, the match was phenomenal. Yeah, the match was phenomenal, right? It really showcased Andrade in a huge light.
He's so good.
This is the push for Andrade we've been waiting for. Of course, there's shenanigans. I mean, it is what it is. But Andrade still got the win. He looked super strong in it. And it was awesome. So, Ant, what did you think of this match?
I fucking love Andrade. I love him so much. I cannot wait till that guy has a title belt in AEW because he's so fucking good. Everything he does looks real crisp, as we say. Like everything looks great. Everything he does looks great. He looks great. His character's great, and they're finally giving him something to do. He pulled out a figure 4 last night. Don't be surprised next year when the Ric Flair stuff isn't hot topic anymore. Ric Flair comes in. I could see that happening now, and I know we don't want it, but it's pro wrestling. They all come back, right? So what I want to go on about, and you'll see this on Wrestling this weekend when it drops, is about the Cody Rhodes thing. Again, Cody makes someone look good, and it's funny that people will shit on AEW for not having the entertainment value, not having the WWE psyche, and that's what you see online. But Cody Rhodes is the most WWE guy in the world because every one of his match is a story. There's always some fucking collusion. There's always shit going on outside. Arn Anderson's got the clock. Arn's falling off the apron. Here comes FTR. Here comes Black Mist. All of a sudden now Andrade is against me. It is overproduced to the max, as WWE is, and yet people still find a way to shit on this guy. So even if AEW is not your cup of tea, there's a cup of coffee right here called Cody Rhodes that you're very used to the flavor, and it's WWE. And I think it's awesome because it brings a diversity to the show so it doesn't just feel like everything's wrestling. These matches have a story to them, and he tells a great story. So I applaud the match. Cody's great, and again, he's taking pins. This guy isn't booking himself like everyone's like, oh, the Triple H, and he hasn't booked himself to win shit. He won the TNT title because he had to, because Brody was sick. Like, That's how. And after
Well,
that, he dropped it.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, he won it back from him the second time, but he wins it for the first time to give that title some prestige. And people forget that Cody was like the heart and soul of the wrestling revolution that created All In, that created this. So like, I get it if you're new to AEW and you're like, oh, Cody Rhodes again, but like, he is the heart and soul of AEW. So
he's
you're
the
bringing
mind.
in all
He's
these
the
new
business mind of AEW.
Yeah, you're bringing in these people, and it's like, the Andrades, the Malakais, the Sammys. You remember the first episode of Dynamite, he wrestled Sammy Guevara. Then you have Darby Allin, the MJFs. All these people kind of get filtered through him because you got to go through Cody before you ride through the ranks to eventually challenge the Kennys.
There's a sports analysis to this that I like to use. It's like, okay, so you had Phil Jackson as the coach of the Bulls. You had Pippen, you had Rodman, you had Jordan. So you look at that roster. Phil Jackson is the mind behind it. He's the brains behind the operation. That is very much Cody Rhodes. The Pippen and the Rodman are the Young Bucks, and your Jordan is Omega. You have your star in Omega. Cody Rhodes never tried to put himself as the top guy because he knows he has the top guy. And he also knows he has two great role players that are going to be the best in the tag division, which matters so much. And I think that's how people overlook it. It's like, these guys are great, but do these guys have the mind that Cody Rhodes does? We know Dusty invented almost every fucking great match you can think of. Dusty Rhodes invented.
Yeah. True.
That is in his DNA. Cody is a great thinker. He's a great creator. And I think people need to start giving him some props. I know it's the cool thing, the John Cena thing, to boo him and all. And you can boo his character, but Cody Rhodes, as the man, without him, none of this exists.
None of this is here.
None of it.
So give
100%.
Cody his damn flowers.
100%. And then we look at stuff that happens after the match, of course, the shenanigans. FTR comes out, hits Cody with the belt, which allows Andrade to get the pinfall. Then Malachi comes out. It's just everybody fighting everybody. At some point, Arn and Tully are face to face. They're about to go at it. We didn't get to touch on it, but before the match aired, Malachi cut this unbelievable promo, and it's just like,
as he always
thank
does.
you, AEW, for allowing these guys and girls to cut promos in where they think their characters should be going, to have more of a say of creative control of where they think their characters are going, because everything Malachi is doing, similar to Miro, which we'll get to later, is just hitting on all cylinders. It is just perfection. It is great. And he keeps teasing like, the turn is going to come from within. So a lot of people online are like, oh, is it someone from the Nightmare Factory? Is it Arn? Is it going to be maybe Lee Johnson, I was saying, or whoever, right? Who's going to be the person that turns on Cody? Because Cody's not going to be the one to turn. Or, shout out to Carrie, her texting me saying, hey, maybe this whole thing with Cody teasing the pedigree is him slowly turning into a heel, the way Triple H was, but the way Triple H is in real life, the way the perception is of Triple H in real life. And when Cody hits that pedigree, is like a boom, I'm a heel. There's all these avenues that they can go with, which I think are pretty cool. But I mean, Jackie, FTR, your guys, my guys, but like, how was it seeing them come out? Of course, commentary being like, oh, they paid them off, that's why they're out here. But how cool was it seeing FTR at the end of that match?
Yeah, that was completely unexpected for me, because it's like where I thought that the payoff from Andrade to FTR was like a one and done situation. So to have them like kind of like just bum rush out of nowhere under the ring, I mean, I popped for it for obvious reasons, but it just continues to add layers upon layers. And I love the way that AEW takes these storylines and just weaves them into each other. They're not mutually exclusive, happening on different, planets. They're all kind of like, affecting one another. You got the FTR, shenanigans, and then Lucha Brothers come out, and Lucha Brothers have a history with Andrade as well. So it's just like they keep adding these layers, which is fantastic to me, because at some point, we all question if Andrade was feeling kind of like lost in the shuffle, because it seemed like everything they tried to do with him was falling, the plans were falling through. But now his character and, the intricacies of it are becoming very complex. And I just that's the kind of stuff that I love to see.
Dude, and that's
it's
such
so
a good
awesome.
point from Carrie. The turn's coming from within, which we all think it's the Nightmare Factory, but no, the turn is within Cody. That's fucking awesome.
Listen, and we say this
That's
every
awesome.
week, and I tell this to Carrie all the time. she works for AEW. All right,
Yeah,
I want
she has
proof
to.
that
I'm
she does not
convinced.
work for AEW
Yeah.
because the little details that Carrie finds out and texts us is unreal. She'll be like, "Yo, in
Yeah.
BTE episode 106, Hangman lifts a drink up, and if you notice, that's the same drink that he has when Kenny hits him here, and then that's why this is happening here." And you're like, "Damn, Carrie, you're just the best," because like
Yeah,
the fact that you
she's
all
great.
of this.
And she
I love it, man.
she made a comment today, again, shout out to her, that she's like, it's very similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as in there's always these little Easter eggs that AEW is dropping, and she somehow picks up on all of them. I don't like, I try to pay
it's
attention,
awesome.
but I don't catch it.
It's so awesome.
Just seeing these little things kind of coming into fruition, it's like, ooh, the plot thickens. So exciting.
It's exciting times coming up, and nothing more exciting than, you know, the surprise for all of us in which Miro
Next week?
the replacement.
Oh, no, not next week. Okay, go ahead.
Well, next week, that's our surprise. We'll get to that towards the end of the show. But so with Moxley being out, all the rumors going around that whoever is replacing him, you know, Sean Ross Sapp's reporting that barely made it to the arena on time, was a last-second decision. So it had a lot of people speculating. Is it going to be Will Ospreay? Is it going to be somebody else from New Japan? Is it going to be somebody local where they were? Somebody, whoever they can get in last second. Not realizing, hey, maybe Miro wasn't called to TV, and that's what it ended up being, Miro, which is really cool. He cuts a great promo saying, you know, like, it's funny, a tweet I saw online, Miro wanted God, and now he's getting to fight Bryan Danielson, which is great. But we get Miro versus Orange Cassidy, yet again, building on what Jackie was saying. The storylines are woven together. Remember that Miro had that big feud with the best friends in Orange Cassidy. So everything is still in line to what's going on. They have their history. We get this great match. Orange Cassidy is an absolute superstar. I love him. He seamlessly can do the comedy stuff like he did in the beginning. He can take a beating, right? He took some shots in that match, and he can get the crowd super behind him. Some really fun stuff. And I know you're not the Orange Cassidy guy, but I'm very interested to think what you thought about, one, Miro being added to this match, and two, just the match itself between Orange.
It's so 4-star just wants to know if Ant is sold on Orange Cassidy yet. I've never. This is the thing. I'm not an Orange Cassidy guy, but I don't hate there's like this thing where I hate him. I don't hate Orange Cassidy. I just don't think his comedy gimmick should be near a world title. In this spot, I love Orange Cassidy. He's fun. He gets murdered. Miro looks strong. He sells his ass off for him. He has some funny moments. That's where Orange Cassidy belongs. You want to put him in a TNT title picture? Fine. Not the world title. That's all I said. The world title should be, it's prestigious. Look at the people who held it. Look at the reigns. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's sacred ground. That's the only thing I don't like about Orange Cassidy was that he was in a title match. You know what I mean? I not like Orange Cassidy. Last night was great. I was really looking forward to seeing how badly Mox would have because I feel like Mox was going to kill Cassidy. Like, it was going to be.
Yeah.
But Miro, the storyline's in place. God took your title away from you to give you bigger things, to give you greener pastures, to be the redeemer for the world championship. So, God giveth, God taketh away, as I said to Jackie one night. But I do think that Miro is going to lose to Danielson now. I think the plan was probably Moxley. But if Miro beats Danielson, that's cool. But it's cool that AEW has these players on the bench. This is, I guess, where it proves Jackie and I wrong on the aspect that we said you needed more heavy hitters in it. Something like this happens. Thank God all of your heavy hitters weren't in the tournament, because now you had the choice between Miro or Punk or Jericho or any of those guys to step up and take that spot. So, hindsight's 20/20, but that luckily worked out for AEW that they had star power to put back in that match. Because Danielson versus Orange Cassidy would have been fun, right? It would have been great at Full Gear, but Danielson versus Miro is going to be very, very stiff, very hard hitting.
Man.
And it's something that I am super. If he wasn't facing Moxley, Danielson, this is the guy I'd want him to face. So, I'm good with it.
100%. What'd you think about the match, Jackie?
I think it served its purpose. A part of me was very curious to know what the plan would have been if Mox were, in fact, in the match. Like, would it have been more of a squash match than it was? Miro is just somebody that has grown on me so much since he first showed up in the company. And I feel like he's cutting these amazing, amazing promos that's just like you drop everything and you have to listen to. But he's also backing his stuff up in the ring in a solid way. So I think that Orange Cassidy, like I agree with Ant. So maybe everybody's gonna think I hate Orange Cassidy too, but I'm just like I don't see him as a main event player. But I think he played well, and I'm glad that it wasn't like completely like a demolish Orange Cassidy moment. He held his own. There were some really good moments in it, but you know, at the end of the day, I am really excited to see Miro versus Danielson.
Yeah, it's gonna be war, and it's gonna be another Danielson match that's gonna be match of the year candidate because these guys are just on another level.
I know we don't talk about rumors and stuff, but like Frankie Monette was just released from WWE. Scarlett Bordeaux was just released. There's a rumor that Ember Moon could be released. These are all
Frankie
names.
Monet got released.
Yeah, Frankie Monet is released. That is someone
would
be great in AEW.
People in the chat, Frankie Monet is Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, Taya Valkyrie.
Impact Wrestling. She was one of the hottest women wrestlers in the world. She has this great legacy with AAA. She had this great legacy all over the world, really. And when she signed with NXT, obviously she's married to John Morrison in real life. So, you could say like, oh, she wants to be able to travel with her husband. COVID hits, fucking ruins the world, right? But this is a huge deal because yet again, another very, very strong women's wrestler is on the free agent market, and she would fit in perfectly with AEW. Yep. And I know we say these things all the time. AEW can't sign everybody. Taya Valkyrie is the longest reigning Knockouts champion, and in my opinion, the Knockouts division is the best division in the history of women's wrestling because no matter who they have in that division, it's still strong. For years, before the WWE Women's Evolution, we're talking Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, years and years ago. So to me, Taya going back to Impact probably won't happen. She's already been there, done that, longest reigning champ. You bring her in, you add her to the mix that we see in this Eliminator tournament, which we'll get into the next segment. You add her with Ruby and Thunder and Jade and Chris Statlander and Serena and Sheeta and Nyla. Like that's an awesome division. Like I'm just getting hyped just thinking about it.
Yeah, right? I didn't even know that just happened. But when she was Ghana from Impact in the beginning, she was somebody that I was like, oh, I really hope she goes into AEW, and she ended up going with NXT. So I'm like, oh, maybe we'll still see it after all. She's somebody that I would love to see in the division.
They're the only two names. Ember Moon is rumored, but I mean, it looks like another sad day for WWE fans, and hopefully these people land on their feet. And like you said, like I'd love to see Taya Valkyrie in fucking AEW. I think she'd be exactly what the division needs. Another veteran ring general who can teach these girls, much like Serena Deeb is, with who you can put at the top of the card. Ruby can teach people. This division's going to get really fucking good really quick because they have some great teachers and a lot of veterans. And that's what AEW needed, and now they're getting it. And now I'm excited for it. So 30 days, let's just hope she shows up on AEW.
Let's absolutely hope so. And let's transition right over to the women's match, which we saw Anna Jay versus Jamie Hayter in the first round of the TBS Women's Championship. And listen, it was a decent match, right? It wasn't the greatest match you'll ever see. But you can see Anna Jay progressing little and little. Happy they didn't give the victory to Anna because I feel like this second round is full of all the heavy hitters in AEW. Like all those women are badass wrestlers. I mean, you add Serena and you add Britt Baker to that mix, and you got like one of the strongest divisions in wrestling in when it comes to the women's division, right? And I think it's really cool. Jamie Hayter really showed out. I'm not really the biggest fan of her finishing move, right? It's just a clothesline. It's like the short arm clothesline, but Maybe she hit it weird, or maybe Anna sold it weird. I don't know. I just feel like
you
maybe
need
she
to
should
sell
come
a
off the ropes.
clothesline like people used to sell JBLs. You need to fucking flip it.
Dude.
You need to flip out of your
were
shoes.
Were they selling JBLs, or were they just actually killing? Because like that's a big dude.
Yeah,
to
but
be
like
hitting
I
you
mean,
at full force.
it's that kind of move though. Even the Rainmaker is all about how someone sells it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think.
See, then you could say that that's more of an Anna Jay thing, right? She's
yeah, but
learning.
I haven't seen anyone really sell it like they've got their head knocked off. Like if I'm watching a hater match, it's kind of like if I didn't know that was her finisher, I'd go, "Oh, nice clothesline."
I didn't know. I completely forgot that she
Yeah.
pinned her, and they were like, "That's a short arm clothesline. That's her finish." And I was like, "It is." But I don't know. Jamie, start it off. What did you think of this match? You know,
You just called Jackie Jamie.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Shout out to Miss Jamie Strange.
Yo.
Jamie, I always get your guys' names mixed
Did
up.
you just called her Jamie? Don't be a hater.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
god.
true. No, so it wasn't because it's strange. It was because we were talking about Jamie Hater. Thank you very much. Jackie, please tell me what you thought of the match.
So, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't the most memorable match, but I think there was some interesting character work happening with Jamie Hayter. She comes across as the most like arrogant person like in the ring. And I love that. I love that attitude. It's just adding another dimension to her character. I think I pointed out to you guys as we were watching, I was like, it's the faces have no friends moment all over again, because here comes Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Rebel, and where the hell is Ty Conti with Anna Jay? Like, you know, why did it have to wait to like the closing moments where she's getting, you know, her ass kicked for her friends to come out and help her? Like, couldn't you have had your reinforcements from the get-go?
Yeah, that's so weird.
But no, this is I'm really glad that I was actually surprised, because, you know, Anna Jay has been gaining this momentum that she was the one to take the L, but I think it was the right choice, because going forward in the brackets now, we're going to get Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter. We're going to get Jade versus either Allie or Red Velvet, depending on who wins that match. Allie. We're going to get Nyla Rose
versus Red Velvet.
Yeah, we're going to get Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Freaking phenomenal lineup. I cannot complain.
And
of matches.
Also, Ember Moon has just been released officially.
Listen, we're going back to her name on the 80s was Athena.
Yep.
She was a badass in Shimmer. So, and listen, I know Ember Moon was incredible in NXT, and then she was kind of lost on the main roster, but her and Shotzi were doing some incredible things before that tag team got broken up. Now, Ember, I want to see go to TNA or to Impact.
That's someone I think fits with Impact better. But again, it's someone that I would not be surprised if Tony Khan likes her work and brings her in, and it's another great like right now I'm more excited for AEW to sign female superstars. There's one name I want them to sign that's a male, and after that it's all female, and that one name's Wyndham, obviously. After that it's all females, because I think that roster has come such a long way, and now these girls, like you just said, Jackie, or should I call you Jamie, that the whole tournament now is heavy hitters, and it's going to be lit. Like Statlander versus Soho, like that's going to be, that might be the best female match in AEW this year. Like it's going to be fucking great. And then you got my girl Jade, who's still learning, but by bringing these people in, it gives you more time to develop Jade. And that's my thing, is like, develop her, let her grow, because don't just throw her into a picture she's not ready to be in. If you add any one of these names, it just helps the talent grow. It helps you take your time on the talent that you're trying to grow, and it makes the talent you have better. It makes the Anna Jays, the Ty Contis, it makes them even better because they have better opponents. I am
100%.
very 100%. If one of those a Cupid girl, if one of those releases are Asuka, she will be fucking signed tomorrow, 90 days or not. Like,
yeah, and we're gonna see what was her name in Japan, Kana.
Kana, yeah.
So I don't think they're releasing her. It seems to be more of the lower level NXT talent today.
It's to what it seems like. It's the NXT talent that are too seasoned for NXT 2.0, but not good enough in their eyes for the main roster, which are the Embers, the Frankie Monets. Like, these are women that are unbelievably don't even fit in that division in NXT 2.0 because it's a bunch of new girls.
And Sean Ross Sapp already just tweeted out, I would be shocked if AEW didn't try to sign Ember Moon. So
dude, she's people forget how good Ember Moon was. Like, people forget her feud with Asuka and how much that Brooklyn NXT crowd, how much we were there. I was there. How much they were in love with her in NXT and how much people loved the work that she did. And maybe she can expand on the whole creepy character that she had when she came out with the hood and she's like a war goddess. And like, there's a ton of potential there for her. So, I mean, hey, Taya Valkyrie, Ember Moon / Athena, whatever she goes back to. Maybe she goes to NWA. Who knows, right? There's a lot of
now there
is
Women's of Wrestling now. So
yeah,
and
she can go there.
Jeannie Buss is rich. She owns the Lakers.
That is true. She will throw that money out there.
She can pay people too. So that's another thing. I don't know if their contracts are exclusive though. At WoW.
For WoW, I don't know. We'll see. Last time they weren't because last time Diamante and Kiera Hogan wrestled there under different names. Kiera Hogan was like Flame.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're gonna do it. Yeah. But I guess we'll wait and see. Hopefully, we get through these releases without your favorites getting released. But hey, maybe your favorites getting released over there means maybe some of your favorites.
Actually, I lied because
the better patch.
There's a guy who's going to be a free agent in January that I want to sign for AEW more than anybody in the world. Just say Mount, and he said Mount Rushmore in his promo the other night.
Yep. And now the reports are saying that Kyle O'Reilly's contract is up in December, so we might see a potential reunion for Undisputed Era in AEW. Just saying.
They're gonna have to put Rampage at a better time and make it 2 hours because they're accruing so much talent that you can't say no to. Like who do you say? Andrade is a free agent. Do you say no to him? Malachi Black's a free agent. You say no to him?
Don't forget.
You know what I mean?
Like
CM Punk,
last week.
Brian Danielson, Adam Cole. You're going to say no to signing those guys?
Well, don't forget, the entire Ring of Honor roster got released. So
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like there's so much talent happening right now that the NWAs, the Impacts, the AEWs, these companies are going to explode with talent. And there's still like the Wyndhams, right? He still hasn't signed yet. His 90 days was up last week. So we're still waiting to see where he shows up. So it's just a very excited time for wrestling. But I do want to get to something before we get out of here. And that is we saw the super click of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks get beat down by Jurassic Express. We saw a very grown and sexy with the beard growing out on the sides.
Hey.
Jungle Man. He's going to come out here. He's changing his theme song to That's his new theme song. Grown and sexy Jungle Man coming out.
Yeah, that's the first clip I want you to make, Jack. That's the first clip I want you to make. But yeah, so we see that. We see the return of Jungle Boy. They beat them down. And the thing that's got the internet talking, we see Christian deliver a concerto. Which, as great as it is, it makes no sense. Adam Cole's wrestling on Friday against Johnny Hungy.
He's dead.
Whatever, we'll look past that, right?
It's a goat. Yeah, he came. Well, first off, he came back, so he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So he could beat them twice, I guess. But Jackie, how did you feel about this whole segment of them just getting the shit kicked out of them?
Yeah, that was brutal. I'm sorry. Like nothing's gonna bring me back from Ant's little serenade right now. But I thought about that too. I'm like, he just took like a double chair shot to the head, essentially. I'm like, and he has to show up on Friday. Good for him. But yeah, I think it was great. It was like, they got their comeuppance because they've been wreaking havoc on, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian, Cage, like, this whole time. So good for them. They got theirs. So you learn, as we say in Puerto Rican talk.
Yeah, so you learn.
I loved it. I think it was great to see them get the upper hand for once. Jungle Man came out, grown and sexy, looking good. Luchasaurus is so fucking good for his size that I wish they would just push him a little bit more. And obviously Jurassic Express is a great tag team, but there's so much potential in Jungle Boy as a solo star and Luchasaurus as a solo star that I don't think they're going to be a tag team long, because I have thought this since day one, and so has Phil. Jungle Boy is he's one of the pillars. He's going to be like top 3 tier, with Hangman and MJF and him as the top 3 guys in your company. Like, that's going to be your 3. I guess you can add Adam Cole in there now. He's 31 years old or 32 years old, and they got him. So, yeah, that's a steal. So he's kind of like going to be up there too. But Jungle Boy has single star written all over him. We saw it. Like, and the best thing is I was talking to Casual Kyle, my friend who I went to the Philly show with, and we were talking outside yesterday. And he's like, I just don't see Jungle Boy being like that top level star because of like the tag team he's in. I said, Shawn Michaels was in the Rockers. Bret Hart was in the Hart Foundation. You know what I mean? Like, these are all guys that you didn't see coming as solo superstars, and they're 2 of the greatest of all time.
Right.
The greatest start in tag team, that's where they learn. I think Jungle Boy's a stud. Adam Cole took a concerto, which was I don't think we've seen one of them in like years. So that was awesome and really fun segment. I'm always down for a brawl as long as it's not to end the show every week. So I'm cool with the brawl in the middle of the show. Super fun. And it was good to see like the good guys get the upper hand. And Christian, for someone I'm not the biggest fan of, that man is getting some great reactions, like really good reactions. So it's good to see that like the AEW fandom cares about Christian. Like, he's making me start to care about him, and I think that's very important. Is now you have the perfect people to go up against the Super Click, and I think that match might steal a show at Full Gear. Because that's going to be insane.
Listen, the Full Gear lineup, every match on the Full Gear lineup might steal the show, right? We got Punk and Kingston, Super Click versus Jurassic Express, FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. We have Hangman versus Kenny. We have Danielson versus Miro. We have Britt versus Ty Conti. Like, there is just banger after banger after banger. And it's so cool because this is the beauty of only having 4 big pay-per-views a year, that you can fucking load the hell out of these cards.
Well, they have a 5th.
Have time to build
they do have those special shows, and the first one's going to be in January. I don't know if you saw that report.
For the belts.
Battle for the Belts is going to be in January. It's going to be a free pay-per-view on TNT. It's going to almost be like the Arthur Ashe. Woo!
It'll be like Grand Slam. So, hey, who knows what's capable there, right? Are they going to have a big surprise there? Are they going to go all out and go crazy?
I saw there was more releases. I saw Oni Lorcan. I didn't see any other names yet.
Oni Lorcan, B-Fab from Hit Row got released. They're saying
Trey Baxter. I don't know a lot of these people.
Which is funny because the Hit Row just got called up and their people are getting released.
Katrina Cortez. Don't know that. Jesse.
I don't know who that is.
Camilla. Damn, there's a lot of fucking names.
These are all NXT people, man. I'm telling you, they're clearing house. It's.
I was kind of like hoping to see, not hoping. That's worded wrong. I would be like, "Hey, Gargano," and I'd be like, "Holy fuck, it's happening!" No. But they're not going to do
it. Mustafa Ali. Let him go to Impact,
bro.
Let him spread his rings.
Let him come to fucking AEW. Mustafa Ali is a fucking star. He's a star.
Yeah. But like, we got to remember this, like, as fans, right? I know, like, we see Cupid Girl in the chat, like, your favorite could be getting released, but look at me. Ty Conti was one of my favorites in NXT, and it was tough to have her get released, and you have to go through those 30 to 90 days and all this stuff. But look at her now, a year and a half later, and she's about to be on a pay-per-view wrestling Britt Baker, who's one of the hottest performers in all of wrestling. So if you just have a little bit of faith, have a little bit of patience, it could all work out. It doesn't have to be AEW.
The good thing is that there's places for them to go.
Yep.
There's plenty, and this can revive the indie scene that has been really, really suffering since NXT took all the talent before All In. Like the indie scene has been suffering since guys like Riddle and Janela and all those people were taken off it either by AEW or NXT at the time, right? Now you can get that indie scene built back up. People could start making a name for themselves, climb back up the ranks. I mean, look at people like Drew McIntyre. He was released. He worked the indies. Guy came back and is like the face of one of the biggest companies, the biggest company in the world. So, this is good for people that maybe a lot of these people look like they want to get released when you see the tweets. And I don't know if that's them just saying
like
that.
sour grapes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of them are like, thank God. Like, so like Scarlett just tweeted out 30 days and I can work again. Like excited. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, what were they doing with
What
her?
were you
Right?
doing?
She had this
Yeah.
great gimmick where her, I don't know if they're married officially, but where her real life fiance, husband, and Karrion Kross, and they were incredible together, NXT champion, and then they take her away from him. And you know, listen, Scarlett's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but she can add to a division. I mean, she had some decent matches when she was in Impact, right? When they had that super stacked division, like they always have, and then she could be someone's manager. It's just.
she's a great,
you know,
she's a
it's-
great manager though. She really,
And not everybody has to be this 5-star wrestler.
No.
There are tons of opportunities in wrestling where you can shine in a ton of different ways. And maybe she's a manager and she can take somebody, like what she did with Karrion Kross. She adds so much character to him. So she can do that for somebody else. Or maybe, hey, I mean, you hate to say it, right? Because there are a couple, but maybe Karrion Kross gets released and they get to go back to the indies and they get to take the world by storm.
he was super shredder there for a minute, so I fucking feel bad for that guy.
Oh,
Dude, I don't know.
This isn't a WWE hate show, so we'll move on. But
yes.
you know, sending positive vibes to all those released. Like all these wrestlers, they're here for our entertainment. They're here to make a living. It's sad when they get released. I hope you find your way to greener pastures, and hopefully some of you find your way to AEW so we can talk about you.
Yeah, absolutely. But any final words before we get out of here? I'll start with you, Jackie.
That's
All right.
your mic broke up. It sounded like you said Jamie.
Jackie.
Oh,
Listen, I
So-
was talking about Jamie Hayter. Okay, I was talking about Jamie Hayter.
We know.
I'll
we
never
know.
hear the end of it. But
It's all right.
I was
No,
talking about Jamie.
we're gonna make a T-shirt in the ElitePOVmerch.com
Oh,
website.
hold on. I have a slide for that. Should
Pull
I hit
up that slide. Yeah.
Let's
so
do
we're
that
gonna
real quick. Yeah, there it
So-
is. Look
We're
at
gonna
that.
have the wrong name
as
shirt.
Jackie was saying, if you guys want our great merchandise, that our boy Infinity has made some incredible designs.
He's the best.
ElitePOVmerch.com.
Yes.
Yes,
but
yes.
my final thoughts. We are now 9 days away. Was it from
9 days from tonight? 9 days from tonight. I got to try to find that YouTube clip real quick when you're talking.
from
9 days from tonight.
From Hangman Adam Page. Hopefully, please God, listen to me. Becoming our new AEW Heavyweight Champion. Full Gear's shaping up to be a freaking banger of a pay-per-view. It'll be interesting to see because we called All Out of this year the most perfect pay-per-view we've ever seen. So it's got some big shoes to fill.
I mean, the ending alone's like,
yeah, but
All-time great.
but it may hold its own for very different reasons. All I know is everything that's been going on leading up to it. I'm hyped for it. I'm really glad that all our rampages going into it are going to be live. Adds a different feel to it. So I'm super excited. Everything that's been going on. It's been a lot of fun to cover all of this. So I can't wait for Full Gear.
all right, I got Tony Khan.
Shout out
wants
to
say-
Nate in the chat. Nate in the chat. He wants a Jackie, not Jamie shirt, kind of like
the
Rebel, not
Reba.
Reba.
All right, so
Infinity,
I got
do it.
I got a little clip for you guys if you guys can hear this.
That was BS. He had just
The announcer,
gone through
the
matches,
viewers
and
can.
Oh,
you
no.
can't even
Well,
promise
okay.
people matches. I make
I-
the
we can't
matches.
hear it.
And
Okay,
I'm
Nick.
gonna tell you right now, Kenny, 9 days from tonight.
Yeah, I don't hear
9
nothing.
days from tonight.
9 days from
9
tonight.
days
9
from
days from
tonight.
tonight.
9
9
days
days.
from tonight. On Dynamite.
On Dynamite. 9 days from tonight.
Live on
What is
WWE
happening?
Wrestling.
9 days.
Well, so this. Oh, so they're saying Karrion Kross got released too.
Wow.
Because
Jesus
Carrie, our girl on the inside, Carrie, is texting me saying,
Yeah,
Kross
Sean
really
Ross
be-
Sapp goes to Carrie for his news. 9 days.
yeah,
from tonight.
100%. 9
Grand-
days. And speaking
Grand
of 9
Metalik,
days from
too.
tonight,
Graham Metalik.
did he really?
Yeah, and Lance Dorado.
Dude, it's gonna be a wild night for wrestling. So keep everybody who's here in the chat live. Keep your eyes tuned to your social media. I mean, who knows how long these releases are gonna go? And if you guys are listening back on YouTube, as I almost die coughing on something on YouTube or our podcast platforms, hit your Twitter up as soon as because you know it's gonna be a madhouse on Twitter, wrestling Twitter right now. But
Chris Jericho
If you
is
guys wanna
so
follow the
happy
show-
all this is happening because now the attention's off his stupid comment.
and Chris
Yeah.
Jericho is booking podcast people like who fucking left. and right, left, right. But if you guys want to follow the show, it's at Elite POV. If you guys want to get some of our great merch, again, it's ElitePOVmerch.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Philliam Elite. Jackie, let them know where they can follow you.
Oh, yes. You can follow me on Twitter at LoveYouMake24 and on Instagram at JaxTheDrawPOV.
And Ant?
You can follow me at Ant_is_elite. Next Tuesday night is Game of Wrestling Iron. We have an Iron Man match between R. Scott Gary and Wade Ilson, and a stacked card besides that. It's almost like our Arthur Ashe show. So come to twitch.tv/Game of Wrestling and watch the characters of the chat fight each other. It's really fun. It's a really good time. And make sure you tune in next week. Next week is something I'm super excited about. What is old is new. I just want to say what is old is new. We have a lot of stuff to announce next week. And one of them might be a new logo.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You guys will have to wait and see. But as always, remember, you don't have to wear a hat to be a cowboy. And make sure you watch next week so you can get a taste of our master plan that we have coming up. See you later.
Peace out.